Have you ever walked away from a conversation and spent the next 3 hours thinking about something nobody else even noticed? Most people move on. Deep thinkers don't. They replay words, analyze expressions, search for hidden meanings. But here's the strange part. Psychologists believe deep thinking isn't always a gift. Sometimes it's the very reason people feel lonely in crowded rooms. Why? Because deep thinkers don't just hear words. They hear patterns. While most people focus on what's being said, deep thinkers instinctively search for what's left unsaid. A small pause, a subtle change in tone, a strange expression that lasts only a second. Their minds automatically begin connecting dots that most people never notice. And that's where things start to get complicated. Because this ability creates a problem most people never see. Deep thinkers often feel different from everyone around them. Not because they're smarter, but because they're processing reality on a completely different level. Think about the last text message you received. Most people read it once and move on. A deep thinker might read it 3 times, then wonder what the sender really meant, then replay the entire conversation in their head looking for context. Not because they want to, because their brain naturally searches for deeper meaning. And this doesn't only happen with conversations. It happens with relationships, decisions, mistakes, memories, even future possibilities. Deep thinkers spend a surprising amount of time mentally simulating different outcomes before anything actually happens, which raises an important question. If deep thinking is so useful, why are so many deep thinkers exhausted? The answer begins inside the brain. Psychologists have identified a network called the default mode network. This network becomes active when your mind turns inward, when you're reflecting, remembering, imagining, analyzing, or mentally rehearsing future situations. For deep thinkers, this system is often highly active. Their minds are constantly running simulations, exploring possibilities, searching for explanations, trying to understand how everything connects. And while this ability can create insight, it comes with a hidden cost. Because the brain was never designed to stay in analysis mode forever. Every thought consumes mental energy. Every possibility requires processing. Every unanswered question creates tension. Over time, the same mind that generates wisdom can also generate exhaustion. And that's why many deep thinkers struggle with something few people talk about. Mental fatigue. Not physical tiredness. Mental exhaustion. The feeling that your mind never truly switches off. But here's where things get even more interesting. Many deep thinkers unknowingly confuse thinking with understanding. They assume that if they analyze something long enough, they'll eventually gain complete clarity. But life doesn't always work that way. Some questions have no perfect answers. Some situations remain uncertain. Some people never fully reveal their intentions. Yet deep thinkers often continue searching anyway. And the longer they search, the more trapped they can become inside their own minds. Which leads to one of the biggest misconceptions about deep thinkers. Most people assume their defining trait is intelligence. But psychology suggests something else. The most misunderstood trait of deep thinkers isn't intelligence. It's sensitivity. Sensitivity to patterns. Sensitivity to emotions. Sensitivity to contradictions. Sensitivity to consequences that others overlook. They notice tension before conflict appears. They recognize emotional shifts before anyone says a word. They detect inconsistencies that most people completely miss. And because they notice so much, they often carry more emotional weight than others realize. This is why many deep thinkers feel misunderstood. The world rewards speed, quick decisions, fast responses, instant opinions. But deep thinkers naturally move in the opposite direction. They pause, reflect, question, analyze, and in a fast-moving world, that difference can sometimes feel isolating. Many spend years believing something is wrong with them, that they're overthinking, too sensitive, too complicated, too different. But what if that's not true? What if the very thing you've been trying to fix is actually the thing that makes you unique? Because deep thinking isn't a flaw. It's simply a different way of experiencing reality. The deepest thinkers aren't the people who know the most. They're the people who never stop questioning what everyone else accepts. And once you understand that, you stop seeing your mind as a problem. You start seeing it as a tool. A tool that, when used wisely, can reveal things most people never notice. But there's one more psychological trait that many deep thinkers share. A trait that often changes the way they handle relationships forever. Interestingly, many deep thinkers become emotionally detached long before they physically walk away.